if I was in charge of recruitment, that's my first place to go, centre-half. Stop leaking goals because we are so porous.
At the end of the day, if these top players start leaving, that's going to be a problem for Chelsea Football Club. And you're only as good as your best players.
It's going to be electric. No low block.
Hello and welcome to Inside Chelsea, the show for Chelsea fans by Chelsea fans. This show is sponsored by BetMGM. Download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk, 18+, gambleaware.org. Please gamble responsibly. I'm Toby Evenden. I'm joined by former Chelsea defender Jason Cundy and lifelong Chelsea fan, and broadcaster Matisse.
Pleasure.
What are we thinking at the moment, guys? We've had a break from Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's been quite a nice break, if anything. We kind of left it on a bit of a low.
Yeah.
We returned on a high, edged past Port Vale with a 7-0 win. What did you guys make of that, just in terms of, was there anything we learned from the team or anything going forward? Or is it more of a case of, at least we got a foot at Wembley?
I think, first, the biggest plus is the fact that we're going to Wembley, because I feel like that never gets old. For me, at least, you know, just watching Chelsea walk out Wembley, even though it's a semi-final, it's always a big moment. It's a big thing. And I value the cup competitions highly. Like, we were built on that, you know. That was the trophies we were getting in the early days under Roman. Even prior to Roman, we were getting the cups. And I don't want us to ever lose that inevitability of Chelsea getting a cup, you know, the record that we have in finals prior to the recent record. So I'm buzzing for that. I think the game itself, you can't really take too much out of it just purely because the opposition is so poor. But if it's a confidence booster for maybe a Hato and an Esteval, the really young players, then fantastic. But I think they know it's very relevant in regards to Man City up against them next in terms of the levels that you got to show. Yeah, it's
a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just think Hato played a lovely ball for, I think it was Esteval's goal.
Done all right this year, Hato.
Yeah.
He has kick on.
Yeah, and look, I remember the game away at Brentford where he was asked to play that inverted full-back role under Maresca. Didn't get the role, didn't understand the role. Cucurella gets what was asked of him under Maresca, inverts and then becomes a number 8 and then becomes almost like a 10 that goes and joins an attack. Hato didn't quite deal with that, but under Rosenior, we've seen him slightly more reserved. Even Cucurella slightly more reserved the way that role is played. But unfortunately, we had to beat Port Vale. We had to keep a clean sheet. We had to beat them by at least 5, but you can't celebrate it because that's what should happen. And I'm glad that we dealt with it in the way that we did because we were under a little bit of pressure. There's no getting away from it. Had it been a scrappy, I don't know, goal in each half, they had half chance, you know, it would have been, we're all sat here now going, and we're well done, you know, we're in a semi-final, but we've done it in style. That's the only way you can do it. Can't celebrate it. I just want to avoid City in the semi-final. We'll get them in the final if we get there, of course. But it conjures up all sorts of memories from certainly older Chelsea fans. 1970 replay, FA Cup final at Old Trafford. That's going to get replayed. And there is that goes back, even before that, I believe, the rivalry and the hatred. Because of the distance of the two clubs, I think it must be one of the, in terms of miles, one of the biggest rivalries in English football. Because of what happened back then. There's hatred. I love Leeds fans because they bring the party.
Yeah, they will.
Bring the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, that day is going to be electric.
Yeah.
Absolutely electric.
Against us, it feels like Leeds specifically, they are always up for it against us.
Yeah, we've not beaten them this season.
We've rolled them over or anything.
No.
So it is going to be a tasty affair. But do you think with that FA Cup, let's say Chelsea, in the ideal world, do go on to win it, would that be a bit more of a papering over cracks, or would, a bit like you touched on earlier, in terms of, is it a reminder of Roman of like, oh, we won 2 last year, we win 1 this year, even despite perhaps over a league performance, we're not overly happy with what's going on?
I feel like it depends who I'm talking to. I think if I'm talking within my inner circle of Chelsea, then of course you don't want an FA Cup win to paper over the cracks of a 38-game league campaign or a Champions League campaign that's gone out in embarrassing fashion. There's still the same level of improvement, the same level of additions that are needed to take us to that next level, because we don't want to just be a cup team purely. We want to go back to trying to compete for the league. But if you're talking about, I'm talking to opposition fans and rivals, I'm going to say, yo, even in our worst periods, we are still lifting silverware, and that's all you can do. Football is going in cycles in some sort of way. You're not always going to be at the peak of your powers. If you're picking up trophies regardless, I think that's that's fantastic, honestly. Yeah.
I mean, in answer to that question, the league form never lies. Where you finished in the table is where you deserve to finish. Finished fourth last year, and it feels a little similar actually to last year. You know, we're going to get top 4, top 5. What's going to happen? Well, the same kind of rules apply because we now have that 5th spot open to Premier League clubs. Liverpool look like they don't want it. We look like we don't want it. Villa, well, I mean, they're also having a little look over their shoulder themselves. Everything's up for grabs, by the way.
I think every team is inviting the other one to get Champions League.
Whoever finishes there is not going to be because they deserve to be there. It's because the other ones don't. In terms of if we finish FA Cup, I don't want to speak. I hate talking about what could happen, but for me, league position is always the most important thing. If you pick up a cup on the way, that is an absolute bonus. 5th spot, we finished 4th last year. I'll take 5th. Of course I would.
Would you take it over an FA Cup? If I offer you either on the table, you go Champions League over that?
100%.
Do you say that's more imperative for Chelsea to build on next summer?
I would. Yeah, because where the club is, I definitely would.
Yeah, never. I always take the cup. Yeah, I take the cup. You qualify for the Europa League if you win the FA Cup, but you get the trophy in the cabinet. It goes into the museum, and there's pictures and there's highlights and there's memories for fans at Wembley for me. And
I don't want to hear that Thursday night music.
What about? I mean,
there's no way I'm taking Champions League over the cup. Yeah. When you look back on it.
No, but it's not. But what about next season? Because it's so important. The game has changed. I hear you. And
next season is. I get what you're saying, but I think next season, irregardless of Champions League, is about how we act in the summer with our signings, with our recruitment, with our sales.
It's harder without Champions League football.
It's harder without Champions League football, but we had Champions League football last summer and we didn't act like a Champions League club with our recruitment. We acted like a Europa League club. So for me now, it's about... I mean, we signed Kante, we had no Europe. So you could... Man United, they've signed players without Europe. When you have a big club and a big name behind you, like Chelsea do, you can still sign top players without Champions League. You just might have to pay them a bit more. Or you might have to sell it a bit more and say, we are really serious and we are really trying to push to the next level, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think our business can be trusted to be foregoing cups at this point.
Yeah. My worry is more just in terms of keeping these players. It would be the Champions League, I think, I'd go with. Just,
the contracts
just keep hold of those players. Because we had a few flirting during the international break. They went and did a lot.
Showing a bit of leg.
There was. There was a bit of leg. There was a bit of, I like the sun, I like this. I mean, the first of those would be Enzo Fernandez. Obviously, he received a 2-game ban. So we've dealt with it internally. Do you guys think that's the right way of dealing with it? And particularly with obviously Cucurella, different kinds of words, more towards the ownership than a future club. Do you think it should be both punished the same, or? Well,
Matisse and I kind of, we had a heated discussion about it last week, and from an own personal point of view, and I said at the time, keep your mouth shut, right? And that applied to both of them. I personally would have also done the same to Cucurella. I think to punish Enzo's was flirting with Madrid. I don't want to go over old ground, but, that was his decision till it went public. I think Cucurella's comments as well, not helpful. Keep your mouth shut. You're paid to play football. Get on with your job. You're not a politician. Do your job better on the pitch. That's where I would come from. And I felt something had to happen. I think there had to be a public display of, this is not on, this is unacceptable. You're paid by this football club. You work for this football club to go and play football and do the best of your ability. Well, I think it's fair to say neither of those, and they're not the only two, by the way, have not done that, but they're the two that chose to speak in public. And I don't know what, as a football club, you're supposed to do, as if you're Rosenior or the hierarchy. You've got to be seen to do something. You can't let players get away with that.
You can't, but did you not feel like what Cucurella was saying did echo a lot of what fans are feeling at the moment?
I don't care. He's not a politician.
He's not, but...
you don't speak on behalf of the fans. You do your speaking with a pair of boots and you go out there with a ball at your feet.
No,
that's how you speak on behalf of me.
You're not wrong. I just feel like there is a core group of those players, and I think Cucurella is certainly one of them, maybe not in recent months quite so much, that will feel like, we are pulling our weight, can you give us some more weight that will also pull in the same direction? I feel like there is a big disparity there. Like, what do you feel with... Do you feel like there's a disparity within the squad, not just quality-wise, but maybe
there should be. There should be a disparity within the squad because some of the squad are ready to compete at the highest level and some of them are clearly not. And if you continue to keep having the rest of the squad that are not contributing at all, some of them, in terms of any sort of impact off the bench, any sort of impact when they start. And that's been shown when Maresca's rotated, that's been shown when Liam Rosenior's rotated. The levels have dropped drastically to the point where they can't even come in and do a job to get the 3 points to help this team continue to keep pushing on, kicking on. It's lopsided. So if it's lopsided, at some point frustrations are gonna show, and top players can only perform in their own individual cases for so long before the collective drag it down. That's why even in school, in maths, you were separated set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4. You didn't have set 4 students sitting next to set 2 students doing the same work, because they would start to mix and then drag each other down. So we can say that top players just need to perform and put up and shut up. But at the end of the day, if these top players start leaving, that's going to be a problem for Chelsea Football Club. And you're only as good as your best players. Everybody talks about, the stadium, Stamford Bridge is a fortress. You don't want to go to Anfield in the second level of the Champions League, Old Trafford, Fergie type. You're only as good as your football players on the pitch. So if you don't have top players, you probably don't have a top club for much longer. So we can dish it out to the players, but at the end of the day, they know what's required. A lot of them, because they've been part of winning teams before, national teams, etc.
Yeah, World Cup.
They know exactly what it takes to win. And they're not being surrounded with other players that know what it takes to win or can even contribute or affect games to help them win. So I don't mind frustration boiling over, because I want my players to want to win, and I want to see some sort of emotion.
Keep your mouth shut.
Emotion out of these players.
Keep your mouth shut.
I want to know that they care. They care. That's what it is.
Show me you care on the pitch.
Yeah, but you can care as well off the pitch.
Show me you care on the pitch. Don't be coming out little mini sound bites. It's cheap talk. It really is cheap talk. And the problem you've got, Matisse, is if you justify it now, players coming out, the problem you're going to have is when someone wants to leave and you're happy with the status quo, then you'll come on and sit here and you'll say, why is he saying that? No, there has to be one rule. Keep your mouth shut, do your talking on the pitch. That's simple. It's an open and shut case.
Kind of lunatics running the asylum, I suppose. But, did you feel Cucurella, who do you think had the worst set of words, really? Because I felt as an ownership, I'd have taken more of an issue with Cucurella's wording in terms of how scathing he was towards how they've operated, as opposed to Enzo. Enzo's was, like you said, he was showing a bit of a leg. He's saying,
Cucurella's was more scathing.
But as a fan, I think
it's actually direct criticism.
I dislike Enzo's words more.
Both, I don't think there's either one is worse than the other. Both has come out and spoken out of turn at a time when keep your mouth shut. You're not performing to the levels you can and have been. And I don't understand how this is even a debate. Do your talking on the pitch. That's what I was always told. Don't come out. Going in the media is a cheap shot. It really is a cheap shot for me.
So if they choose to say they choose now, some of them to say, right, we would like to move on because we're not really hitting the levels that were promised to us when we signed up for this project in terms of the standard, the ambition. What would you say to that if certain top players started leaving?
At the end of the season, speak to your agent. That's what he's paid for. That's what the agent's paid for.
I don't mind getting a little bit of a warning sign in there for your ownership.
Well,
a little bit of a crack.
I felt Cucurella's words resonated more with us than I felt Enzo's.
It's a cheap shot because he knows how the fans feel. He's playing to the gallery.
But I think he's played to the gallery in his performances over the years with us. So I think
recently?
Maybe not in the last couple of months. I'm with you there. But recently, in terms of what he has done in his time at Chelsea, I think in recent years, Cucurella's been one of the first.
And that gives him the right. That's the thing that worries me a little bit, that because he's performed, he now has the trust of the players, because there's a real divide amongst the fans. He has chosen to speak out. I know things ain't great. My family's Chelsea, my mates are Chelsea. I understand what's going on. I felt...
But I think...
Come on, you.
We had a core group of legends that literally could get managers sacked if they wanted to. That's how much of a almost hierarchy we had in terms of the playing squad.
Well, they ran the dressing, didn't they?
This is nothing compared to what I'm used to in terms of what I've seen from the likes of the Drogbas, the Lampards,
what did Drogba say publicly?
No, but I'm saying...
What did Lampard say publicly? What did JT...
Villas-Boas. We all know the whole... We all know the whole saga with the pre-season flight.
These guys aren't them either.
No,
not yet.
They're not.
I'm not saying they're there. And I'm not saying that
he
he shouldn't be suspended. I think suspending him is the correct decision because you've got to set a precedent. But what I am saying as well is that I don't mind that he said it or that both of them said it, because I feel like some sort of pressure needed to be put on the hierarchy and the ownership from inside, from the players themselves. And it's coming from a good place, in my opinion, from at least Cucurella's point of view. Maybe you say Enzo Fernandez is a little bit more grey, but it's coming from a place of we want to win, we want to see ambition.
Selfish animals, I say it for nothing. There is a lot of looking after number one here. The Rats starting to think about leaving a sinking ship. That's what it tells me.
Or just don't let the ship sink in the first place.
Fine, but keep it in-house. What we're talking about with Didier and all that time. I knew what happened with AVB. I knew that the disconnect between him and the players. It was terrible. And what Di Matteo did when he came in, he went back to basics. He got JT on side, he got Didier on side, he got Cech on side, he got Lamps on side, he got Ash on side. Five, the core of our top players, and he kept things simple. Right, that's what he did. He came into and he done brilliantly. Won the FA Cup and the Champions League. Keep it in house. If you've got something to say it privately and deal with it internally. As soon as it goes public, look at us.
It can't be dealt with internally, really, unless they change their.
Agent speaks to the club. I want to leave. Put a transfer request in. I happily, if players want to leave, fine. Eden Hazard went to Real Madrid, right? Fine. You want to go, I get it, fine. If they want to leave, put a transfer request in. That's how it's done. All this is doing is unhelpful. There's an international break, it does my nut in. They
run off and there feels more safety of, like, I can say this or that. And obviously he's been hit with that ban. But someone who did feel like they could say what they wanted to say, haven't spoken in a while, was Enzo Maresca. Put out a WhatsApp status. This is breaking news, guys. But he said, he's gone a bit philosophical with it. He said, stay true to your principles and don't sacrifice quality for profit. What do you think he means by that? Is that his values, or is that a double entendre at the club, do you think?
I don't know how much you can read into that. Because
the timing of it.
Who cares what he thinks?
Oh, it's a personal. It's a more personal platform. It's not put out there for the fans, for the journalists. On the day that
Enzo speaks is it correlation or is it causation?
I don't know. What was Maresca doing at the time? He could have been on the beach for all we know, right?
Having a few pina coladas.
He could have been doing whatever, right? We don't know what he was doing. So I don't know if Maresca's completely in tune with everything that's going on at Chelsea on a daily basis. If he's really that, online, like, obsessed with what we're doing, what's going on, our day-to-day run-ins. I'm gonna say that that was on WhatsApp. For me, we shouldn't even know that happened. It's sometimes that level of information is just unnecessary. If you put it on Instagram, if you put it on Twitter, I'd get it, right? That's more of a public forum. For him to change his WhatsApp status. I mean, when I was changing my BBM status when I was 17 years old, I wasn't expecting people to everybody for knowing about it. It was your own private little personal contacts on your own family and friends listing. So for me, I shouldn't know, and I'm not going to read too much into it.
He attached that quote to his picture. I feel like it was a little subtle message. He knows it's going to get out there.
He's got an extra grind.
He knows it's going to get out there.
You do it on Instagram. Like, you're not going to do it on WhatsApp.
He didn't do it after we beat Napoli. Do you know what I mean? He's picked his timing.
Come on, look, take it for what it is. We all know what's going on. We're not stupid, right? He's sticking the boot when there's been a little bit of a tricky time. Like you said, his first 6 results under Rosenior, he didn't hear a peep out of it. Yeah. He's got an extra grind, and I get it. We all feel like we've been wronged, but to come out and make it public, or certainly it's been made public.
It's been made public.
Yeah, I know, but
delete that person off WhatsApp.
I just thought sacrificing quality for profit.
Sorry, who writes that?
He's a philosopher, isn't he?
No, it's not. That's meant for public consumption, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, and it's made it into the domain. I treat it with a pinch of salt.
We break it down. Principles is fine, and then don't sacrifice quality for profit. What does that really mean? Well, he might be talking about food quality in his.
I got the impression it was
on the canteen at the
Yeah, it could be food.
Yes. Has the quality dropped?
Yeah, he could be talking about food. That's what he could be talking about.
Well recovered.
Nice. That's a lot more bright. But Liam Rosenior was quite bright. He had some words that we could take a lot more positivity from, potentially. He says, we've had a lot of exciting conversations about how we can move things forward this summer. You'll see. You'll see in the actions that we take, rather than the words that I speak now. Now, we're all going to hold him to that.
No, but...
What do we think? Do you think there will be change in the summer in terms of how they operate?
I'm not going to hold him to that, because he is doing exactly what every head coach is going to do under this ownership, which is they're going to talk the talk, and they are not even in control of walking the walk. He is not the one making the signings. He is not in charge of the signings, and that is it. He is a head coach, and that is his position. He is not a manager, he is a head coach. The directors are going to make the decisions on who we sign, when we sign them, and for what price, and for all of those other intangibles. It's got nothing to do with Liam Rosenior. And what happens is that when Liam Rosenior comes out like this and he says this, people say, oh, bookmark it, I'll hold you to this. And then if we don't get those players now, oh, it's the manager. We shouldn't be talking about the manager. Once again, we're talking about the ownership, we're talking about the directors in regards to transfer policy, because that is why they've hired 5, 6, 7 directors in all these different positions to get certain level of players to come and play for this football club. It's got nothing to do with the head coach. So he might have been told that we're going to have a great summer, but words are very cheap right now. We need action. We need to actually see it on paper. And I don't know why he has to say this, but he's putting himself in a position.
I don't know that he does have to say it. I don't, a little bit like Cucurella and Enzo, I don't know why this has to come out.
I don't
you know, the language that's used here, it encourages, I don't want to hear this, right? We're going into a battle. We've got an FA Cup semi-final. We've got a Champions League place to try and qualify for. It's going to be a long slog. We've got big games coming up, some tough games coming up. I don't think that we need, as a football club, to come out with the rhetoric like that that looks forward to a summer, but we don't know what the summer looks like.
Yep.
You know, we might lose in the semi-final to Leeds. We might finish 7th.
Yep.
That conversation there, that to me, I wouldn't say a word. Even if the question is encourageable, I wouldn't say a word. Don't.
Just focus on the football in the next few weeks. Because how can you say we're going to have an exciting summer? You don't even know what European competition we're playing.
A level of surety where you kind of think,
I don't know
even if we were to come
what was the question? Do we know the question that led to this? Because sometimes...
I think the question was in regards to like a change in policy in the summer. Will you see a signing of some experience at the back?
I personally, look, without actually having any context to the conversation, I wouldn't open up. I'd just say, we're just talking about the next game.
Yeah.
All I'm interested is about Man City. That's it. Conversation.
For me, this shows a lack of experience because, like you just said, actually, we don't know what competition we'll be playing in Europe. The finances will be impacted directly due to that how the season ends. And also in the market, with the amount of players that we actually have in the squad, you've got to sell. So you could talk about who you want to buy, but at the end of the day, if you've got to move players out first, which we had to do a lot last summer, which is predicated on clubs being interested, being able to pay the buying price, agents, player being able to agree personal terms, all these things that are not in your control or going to take long to get done, that might impact your targets because then other targets are going to get snapped up by other clubs. So you really don't have any control to be saying this about our window coming up. It's all just...
It may at the moment look encouraging. There may be some spreadsheets that, you know, but again, Matisse is right. Why is this in the public domain? I would keep things well away from transfer policy, well away. We have got a job to do between now and the end of the season. We have got some massive games. Win those games, get to the FA Cup semi-final, beat City, whoever it's going to be. I don't want to put Southampton at this. Finish top 5, then we have the conversation.
It's a bit odd as well when you've got players that you're trying to galvanise and motivate to say that we're talking about players coming in the summer. Really, we should be focusing on the current group we've got right now.
It does feel like that. It's because, I mean, Cucurella's obviously in alignment with his words, but
he's got 2 years left in his contract, by the way, Cucurella.
Yeah.
He's got 2 years left.
It was a pay rise, but not
an extension.
Not an extension. But he's also approaching 30, isn't he?
So he's 28, is he 28, coming 29?
Yeah, 28.
So he's got 2 years left in his contract. The current ownership, previously, if you have 2 years left on your contract, you've got a decision to make, and they have. Watch this space over that one.
Because you're not going to hand out an 8-year deal to a 30-year-old, that's for sure.
No, it's not going to be that long.
So that'll be interesting. How many years? Because remember, we had a 1-year policy.
Cucurella, how's are he going down?
Under Roman, we had a 1-year policy that we very rarely broke that policy. For plus 30, you only got a 1-year deal. So let's see.
It'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I do feel like Cucurella, certainly the manager, it's almost like both coming out at the same time and we're saying, yeah, no, this isn't good enough. As in the collection of players there, it almost feels like with Cucurella suggesting change to policy, Liam Rosenior almost being like, you know, we're going to be doing this in the summer. You'll see all this.
Well, this to me, this conversation means nothing to me right now until we know where we're going to play, what competition we're playing in, what players want to say. I mean, the World Cup could change all sorts of things. You know, Cucurella could go on and be world champion, be player of the tournament. Things change.
Do you not think it's a case of maybe Rosenior also, he might be playing to the gallery in terms of what he's saying, but he's seen enough in the last few months of being here to know, I don't think these players are good enough either, and we do need these players in.
Who's that, sorry?
Rosenior himself.
Well, Rosenior, keep that private. What is this about public talk? Have a conversation. We got sporting directors. There has to be joined up thinking from top right the way down to Liam Rosenior. That conversation should stay private.
This has to be on purpose, though, because out of all the clubs at the top of the Premier League, no club is more public with the reporting, the news, the transfer links, all of it is so out there in the open every day, every week. There's no other club that operates like this, and it certainly didn't operate like this under the previous ownership. It was dead silent a lot of the time. You didn't hear any noise. So I'm starting to think it's on purpose that we hear this, and it's all. I mean,
what's the end game?
I don't know what the end game is, because I don't think the words are holding up with the same value that they would have done 2-3 years ago, when you were maybe trying to control and monopolise the narratives and the storylines on the internet.
Well, then it felt like something fresh,
fires.
didn't it, with all these long year deals. It felt like, we're finding this loophole, that loophole. But
you can't put out fires with words anymore. Not at this point, I don't think.
Yeah, I remember there was, around Christmas, we were like suddenly linked with Semenyo for about a day. It was quite surreal, that.
Yeah.
But realistically, do you think we will see some experience come through the door in the summer?
Impossible to say, honestly. If you wanted my vote, yes, 100%. We've been crying out for something, certainly at centre half. João Pedro has done it remarkably well. Do we need a little bit more alongside him to come in, experience-wise? I think Delap has come in and injuries haven't helped, but I think we've seen that drop off. His potential takes time. Sometimes it can take 2 years, sometimes 3, maybe longer. There are areas over the pitch. Remember when the owners came in, we lost Aspie, we lost Thiago Silva, Cover in the middle of the park. We're talking 3 of the most experienced players at that time. This club, certainly in winning things, has ever had. And those players left holes, they left gaps. And we still haven't quite replaced that. We won the Champions League with those players.
Rudiger as well.
Yeah, another one. Yeah, slightly younger, but yes.
But even like Jorginho's and Kante's.
You know, there's a lot of that left, and we are still, for me. I mean, we spoke about Harry Maguire signing a new contract at Man United, and I said to Matisse that's the type of player that we need to sign. They signed him for a year with a year extension. I'd have Maguire for a year and a year extension, just purely for what he brings in terms of character, personality, leadership. Is he the best centre half in the world? No. But we're crying out for that type of leader, yes.
My problem with it, because we disagreed, my problem with that player coming in was he's actually not won at the highest level himself either. He's also got mistakes in his game, and I feel like what we don't need right now is swapping some of our centre-backs' weaknesses for a different type of collection of weaknesses. We need, if we're going to play this really progressive, attacking, high-line football, we need fast centre-backs. It's mandatory. It's not a pick-and-choose situation. We can't counter-press. We can't be up the pitch. We can't have this intensity, this young, high... look at PSG the other night. You need defenders that can run. So I just don't see... Maguire, for me, is a back three centre-back when he's at his best, and I think he's better in a deeper line as well. Similar to Disasi, I could easily see him doing very well for a team in the middle of the table. He doesn't start for Man United regularly. He doesn't start for England regularly either.
Yeah, he brings that leadership, so I do see both sides.
He ticks box. I'm not saying he's the perfect centre half. I'm just saying that type of player that we have missed, what he will bring. Thiago Silva. How quick was he?
But that's the level of
quality
comparison.
I'm not comparing him to him. I'm just saying that
but we didn't play that football back then, really. We were a little bit more pragmatic. We would sit back a little bit and play on the transition. I feel like right now, with the managers that we're hiring, the way that we seem to be going, we just want to dominate games. That seems to be what we want to do. We don't want to...
Who's our best centre-half this season? Chalobah?
The one who's injured.
Right, Chalobah. Levo, outside of those two, Fofana... I mean, he's...
You kind of chuck anyone in and be just as happy about it.
I'm just saying that...
They're all interchangeable.
It's been a major problem. That area of the pitch is one of the biggest problems at the club right now. And because of injuries to Levi, obviously, Chalobah, who, for me, has been our most consistent centre-half. And you've got Badiashile. You've got Sarr that's come... I'm going to forget some, by the way, so help...
Fofana, of course.
Fofana, and you look at the centre half, you're going, the fit ones, who are our best two? And you probably go, I was going to go Chalobah plus someone else.
Maybe Colwell, but that's because he's not...
Colwell's not, he's injured. Fofana comes in, Badiashile, Tosin's in there. There's not
There's no clear outright front runner.
There's
there.
not, and that is. Ask me if you want to start talking about
Priority
moving
number one.
forward, and you'll see actions that take them. That's a big area for me. Big area, probably the biggest on the pitch, and I'm talking about lack of goalkeeping situation as well. Also up top, centre half, massive. Get that sorted.
Yeah.
What did you guys make of... There's a player that caught my eye, seems quite Chelsea, in Van Hecke. I feel like he's quite suited to what I don't know, what I enjoy in a lot of Chelsea players, a bit of a Diego Costa of a centre-back, that kind of type, but they've done...
Who's he play for?
Brighton, obviously. That's what I'm thinking, they've got some good links.
Honestly, we can't keep going there.
But we can. But we can.
But it feels...
But in all honesty, if you look at our Brighton
we can.
business, it's some of the better business they've made.
Yeah. They have a model, and for some reason, they might have like a microchip in their neck that when they sell players, their quality drops. I don't know what they do. That's unfair. I'm kind of... But I don't know whether we can go back to Brighton again.
Oh, we can.
No, I don't know.
We can.
I know we can.
And we will.
I know we
And we
can.
will. And we will.
I mean, João Pedro was a bit of a surprise. Even at the time, it was like, oh, is he a striker? Is he this? And he's,
For me, Van Hecke, there's a lot to like. There's a lot of boxes ticked for me.
I feel like, funnily enough, Chelsea actually need to prioritise a left-footed centre-back first, because I think we don't know what version of Levi Colwill is going to come back. It's been a massive injury. He's been out for the whole season. Ideally, you give him the time to recover as the season goes on, and you're not throwing him straight back in saying, you are the leader of the back line. We depend on you for 40, 50 games this season. I think that's quite a ropey position to put yourself in there. So, and for me, Badiashile needs to be moved on. So I think that left-footed centre-back on that side is... I mean, for me, we need two centre-backs, but I think we've got so many right-footed centre-backs, like Sarr, you've got Chalobah, you've got Acheampong, you've got Fofana. I think left side, you actually have to solve that to give Colwill the grace period to kind of come back from.
Maybe like a Murillo.
Maybe out of the league, There's obviously Schlotterbeck at Dortmund, Bastoni's been spoken about. I mean...
It does feel like the big make or break to a degree signing for this project, because last summer it felt like we need a centre-back, especially when Colwill got injured.
Yeah.
Obviously this summer you think,
Stop pulling centre-halves. There's so many...
But one you feel a bit more
Yeah, no,
certain.
I agree.
Starts.
But it just, is Aziz out on loan. I mean, there's...
It looks like West Ham might take him, I actually think he's been pretty
He's
good
doing
at West
all right.
Ham, hasn't he?
He's doing okay. But there is... It seems as though it's more quantity as opposed to real genuine quality. It's like getting numbers through the door. As opposed to going out and going, right, we're going to pin a hat right on you. Colwill, for me, hopefully will be that player that comes from the academy. I think that, that's a big decision for me. If I was in charge of recruitment, that's my first place to go, centre-half. Stop leaking goals, because we are so porous. We give away such weird goals. What I can't get out of my head is the Smith goal away at Rex. That goal down the middle. That gives me nightmares even now, commentating on it. It's one punt down the field, and you've got was it Badiashile and Toast? I don't want to drag anyone, but whoever it was, ball over the top.
I believe it was those two.
Right, one touch finish.
Yeah.
He looked like Crespo. And that to me, that goal there in itself should be the goal you go.
That can't happen.
That cannot happen.
And it's happening too much.
Yeah.
Too many of those kind of goals. You're absolutely right. But they have a big decision on their hands in terms of who they play at the weekend. Because we have Man City, they're not bad in attack.
Yep.
Shirky starting to purr. Haaland with a hat-trick at the weekend, getting back amongst the goals.
Why are you doing this to us?
I'm setting the precedent before we get into it. But what could help us actually get a result in that game? Because obviously it would be massive. I know it's been not the best few months as a Chelsea fan, but kicking on for the rest of the season, like you said, we might have a final to play, but we kind of, it's cliche, but seven finals for the Premier League to get to that Champions League, to finish the season strong and go into that summer feeling a lot more bright about it. This would be a good way of doing that, playing Manchester City.
Go on, come on.
I feel like any pairing of Santos, Caicedo, Lavia, Caicedo can work. We've seen both partnerships do very well, especially in these types of games where defensively you're going to be tested a lot more. You're probably going to sacrifice a bit of possession. I think with Man City, they're going for the title. They are the better team. I expect them to have a bit more of the ball. So you need the mobility in there. You need someone that's going to get about the pitch. Both of them can be press resistant, Santos and Lavia. Both can receive under pressure. Both can pass the ball. So I don't think there's like a massive needle mover between the two. It's slight preference either way, who's going to bring what to the table. Lavia is really good in build-up. Like, the top 1%, 2% for me in terms of build-up play. Like, you can really put the ball into him in any area, any position with anybody on his shoulder, and he can get out of it. And then Santos has maybe got a little bit more of an attacking threat if he starts to, find his goal-scoring vein that he had at Strasbourg. There's maybe a case to say to play all three of them together and play a three-man midfield and go, match Man City probably man for man, or try and overload in there. So I'm not personally too, because Reece James is injured, obviously Enzo's suspended. I'm not too personally bothered which one plays next to Caicedo, but I am gearing a little bit towards the three-man midfield because I do think if they're really serious about this title, the level of motivation they have come into this game versus the level of motivation we have, it's not comparable for me. I think.
So you're doing a shape change?
I think I would go. Yeah, I think I would. Yeah.
I can't remember Liam's done that. I don't believe he has. I can't think of there might have been. It's all interchangeable. 4-2-3-1 can be a 4-3-3 at any given time, depending who's playing where. Me, I'm going Lavia and Moises Caicedo. I've seen those two play together, and the big games always seems to be Liverpool that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
That we played at Anfield. I think we ended up getting beat in the game. We were excellent that day, and Lavia and Moises were just so good, dropping into space. They will press City. They will. That's just their. They're not that high closing down, but they will, as we saw against Arsenal, sit on the edge of the box. They'll bait us. They'll set traps. They'll be looking what we're doing, how we're going to play out from the back. But then, who do you play as a 10? João Pedro's up top. Esteval for me has to start. Right, we agree on that on that left hand side, and on the right then, where are we going to go? Sorry, on the left, it's Pedro Neto.
Yeah,
it feels like that, and you've got to start Carl.
This sounds wild. I think for me, Esteval's much stronger on the right than on the left. I think we saw that in the half comparison between him and Neto. I don't think Palmer is playing to a level at this point where his position on the pitch needs to be prioritised. I would go with the three-man midfield, have energy, intensity in there, give Caicedo the licence to almost be a box-to-box, counter-press, get in the faces of Rodri.
Like he's against Spurs away.
Really try and disturb the build-up. He's got a shot on him as well. He's got a good final pass on him as well. Let him have a bit more freedom to roam and just get about the pitch. We used to have Kante do this brilliantly when he was playing as an 8 as well. Yeah. And you've still got that security of Santos and Lavia, so you don't feel like as if you're leaving anybody exposed. And just have Cole just hang off the left. Let him hang off the left. Let him drift off the left, come inside. Esteval on the right. Just see if Cole can put some good deliveries into the box. He can definitely, be on that left side of the box and get shots off and cut across the ball and go far post. I don't think Cole Palmer's playing to the level right now where he needs to be in the 10, in the fulcrum of Chelsea. We play through him. We have to play him his favoured position off the right when Esteval's there to cause a bit of problems. He's really young. He's got that sprint, that burst of pace to go up against O'Reilly, who's been in really good form for them as well. I think you'd rather have Esteval over there trying to cause him problems. I would just let Cole just play off the left. He's technically. I
quite like the idea of that.
It makes a good argument. I just don't know whether Rosenior is. Can we think of a 4-3-3 under Rosenior? I mean, I can think of a 5 at the back against Arsenal.
I feel like Cole Palmer's...
Delap at right wing, we're not going with that?
No.
Didn't like that?
No.
No, don't. But I like the idea because Cole needs that freedom, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think against...
It's a cross from that angle as well, like...
I think against City, you've got to respect who you're up against. Don't over-respect, like Liverpool did midweek, where they go away at PSG and they almost hand the game to them, come and beat us. There has to be a point where you go, they are better than us, they are in the ascendancy, they are chasing a title, and we are trying to somehow get into a season still up and running and get to the top 4-5. But I don't know whether Rosenior will being at home, it's difficult to say. Maybe away. I mean, what did Callum McFarlane do?
Yeah. I think we played a bit of a 5, didn't we?
Yeah.
I feel like Gusto was sort of a wing back.
Yeah, what did he do? Might look at that video.
With no Reece James, tactically, we're a bit limited, I think, with that side, what we can really do.
Yeah. Do you think with a lack of Reece James, if you could, WrestleMania's on the corner, it's time for returns, but if you could hit a button and just Enzo Fernandez does play, would you be pressing that button?
Say that again, sorry.
If you could press a button and Enzo Fernandez, the ban is gone, and you can play him in this game, would you be pressing it?
I'm not sure it solves a great deal. To be honest. I don't think the conversation is going to be too much different. Do you?
I feel we've got more goals than us with Enzo in the team. I do think we'd feel more sturdy with that midfield. Yes, he did.
But I'm not sure OK, shape change. Matisse goes with a 3. Are you changing your 3? You're still going to go 3.
I'll still go 3, man.
You're still going to go 3. I don't think it changes a great deal about the conversation, in all honesty. I don't know. I think that there's going to be moments in this game that we have shown we can create chances. So there's a ruthlessness about City that worries me at the moment. It just feels as though they're just, you know,
Haaland versus our centre backs is a
there's, and also Haaland scored for 9 games, gets a hat trick last time out.
Yeah.
I just feels as though we've caught them at the wrong time right now. The midfield and right down the centre of the pitch. That to me, we're going to have to get that right, but it's going to be tough, really tough.
And that's the key for me. We've got to block out the passing lanes to Haaland. We can't allow those little slip passes to go in behind where he's got the defender on his back and he's rolling him around the corner and getting his strikes off. We've got to block that in. Because if you do stop the supply line to Haaland, he can be anonymous. He can be completely anonymous. He's had games where the first 35 minutes against Liverpool, I didn't even know he was playing. Then he gets the goal. He got
he's that player, right?
If you could just literally shut off all the supply line, you really might not hear from him. But if you give him a chance, he'll score. So.
Definitely. But now it's time for our bet builder with BetMGM. Remember, you can download the app or head to betmgm.co.uk. So we have obviously a big game this weekend. I'm a bit worried about it, so I think we're all going to be a bit tentative with our predictions here. But I'm going with a goal in both halves. I think there will be goals in the game. For which side, I don't know. But I'm hoping quite a few of them are for us. But I think there will be goals in either half.
Yeah, I see goals. Goal in each half. That it feels right, doesn't it? There'll be chances. Also, by the way, Man City give you chances. That first 25 minutes against Liverpool were the better side.
They were, yeah.
And they're a side, and they're not anywhere near the side they were that has won titles. If Pep manages to win this title, this will be, in brackets, the worst Man City side to win the title.
Yeah.
But they give you chances. The other end of the pitch, they're starting to create chances, and there's a ruthless. So I see that. I'm going to go draw, and whenever I go a draw, especially at home, tells you probably what I'm thinking. I'm afraid.
Fearful.
I'm edging my bets here more in. We've done all right against some of the big heads this season. You know, I know the PSG second leg was poor, but the first leg, actually, for 3/4 of that game, we were good. We were really good. I've seen us against Arsenal. I've seen us against Liverpool. We can hold our own. I'm going to go draw.
City themselves as a draw.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to go both teams to score just in the general game. I think we're at home. João Pedro, he's got a goal in him, I think, as well. I think, regardless of the result, we're capable of scoring against them. And they do, like you said, they do give you chances. So I actually kind of almost enjoy when a team is going to come to Stamford Bridge and have a bit of the ball, because it means we're going to get space to play into. We're not going to have to try and defeat this low block and get every single pass on point. There's going to be space to play into. Just take advantage of the chances when you get them. Yeah,
no low block. Hey, team coming there and blocking.
Exactly. There's no block.
But that low block does mean that we're going to be looking at lots of those chances where Turkey gets.
We might be the low block.
You never know.
Yeah. But the odds for our bet builder are on your screen now. That's it for another episode of Inside Chelsea, sponsored by BetMGM. Download the app or visit betmgm.co.uk, 18plusgambleaware.org. We'll be back on Monday to look back on that Manchester City game. Thank you very much for your company, and thanks to Jason and Matisse. See you next week. And all together now,
up the Chelsea!